I've been making natural history films for over 50 years. And during that short time, the human population of the Earth has increased 3 times. As a consequence, animals and plants everywhere are under threat of extinction. Fortunately, there are people who are doing their best to try and prevent that disaster. The Whitley Awards are there to help them. In the last 15 years, the Whitley Awards have supported more than 100 dedicated conservationists. They are from different areas of the world. They are of different cultures and backgrounds and face many challenges. But they have some things in common: a commitment to conserving wildlife and the environment, and the determination and tenacity to succeed. The Whitley Fund for Nature is very small. It's focused. It does not claim to be addressing problems of climate on a global scale.
What we try and do is be like Heineken. We try and reach the parts that other beers can't reach. So we're looking for the local leaders that often get overlooked by the large funding provided by the World Bank or government agencies.
It was the first support I'd ever had to do conservation work. And on the basis of that, we've been able to build a conservation team that has global reach and a really long list of accomplishments.
They must overcome great challenges, political, social, environmental. But they're not hindered by bureaucracy in the same way that world leaders are. And they're flexible and free to address the most pressing problems and to articulate solutions.
To be recognized by a group who is scrutinizing the whole world, and then you being selected, that gives you a lot of pride on the one hand, but also tells you that you are on the right direction.
More and more people are becoming more confident in their countries. In the early years, they used to define themselves by their success in the West. They wanted to have Western PhDs. And now what's happened is they're emerging in their own countries.
The Whitley Awards seek out some of the world's most effective conservationists, providing a crucial link between donors and the next generation of conservation leaders.
Winning the Whitley Award can make a lot of difference to a young person who has the potential to become a leader in conservation, who does not have any other formal recognition. Just mere fact that you get a certain amount of publicity associated with the award, I think really inspires and motivates such people to go on to greater heights.
Unfortunately, young Peruvian conservationists are usually taken for granted when something like the Whitley happened. Everyone wanted to know, everyone was so impressed. It just opened doors all over the place, and people wanted to know more about the kind of work that I was doing. And so it's really been probably one of the most important things that's ever happened to me.
Since 1999, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal has been patron of the Whitley Fund for Nature. Her personal interest and support has done so much to inspire not only our donors, but the winners themselves.
In Venezuela, people are not so familiar with the royals and they don't know their names, but they knew that this picture with the princess had taken place. And still, 4 years later, it comes up regularly. And still, people, when they publish, especially on online journals, use that photograph to illustrate our work. The princess was always having something interesting to say to everyone about either their country or their species. She, of course, had traveled to most of our countries and had friends, and she could name people who you knew or you've heard of. So she was not just like a figurehead, somebody who came through and just stood there and shook people's hands. She actually, you could see that she was very deeply and personally involved.
The President of Mexico summoned Rodrigo to come and meet him to explain that photograph and generally to account for himself. The President then gave him a Mexican award and due recognition. Rodrigo set up his own charity, and he's now firmly on his way.
There's enough support, more than enough support, for conservation conducted by people from the northern countries, from the developed countries, in the developing countries. That misses the point completely. We need to have local involvement from day zero. We have to have local commitment from the local conservationists. And this is the people that we need to support and we need to protect and we need to link across. South-South collaboration is all important.
Well, the selection process is very difficult, and we like to make it a very difficult obstacle course for them. You can't just be a scientist, because that won't take you anywhere. Yet you can't not have the science. So you can't just be an embryonic politician, because that will just take you into politics. We're looking for people in a very difficult walk of life. There's no obvious reason, if you are a Brazilian, to become a conservationist. Not a great career prospect, and your family might be rather confused as to why you want to have such a precarious existence.
Here is a man, Edward, who set up this remarkable structure to investigate and reward individuals making a difference across the globe. That's good news for them. What's good news for us is he's done all the hard work. How many times do people disparage giving money because of overheads or fear of losing it to corruption? With the Whitley Awards, the money goes to the source.
We set up income-generating activities around the site that now has started generating money for the local communities. Unless you get communities to derive income from these resources, they will never respect them. They need to look at them as important resources for them to derive livelihoods.
The goal of our project was to return the status of protected area back. So we attracted lots of local people to this work, and it combined all part of society on Sakhalin Island, because it's kind of national heritage.
Children would throw rocks at bats. After we worked in that cave, we came incognito, and we were approached by kids, and the kids would say, "Give me $1 and I'll tell you how important bats are." I immediately looked for the peso and I gave it to the kid, and he started telling me how good bats are for pest control, for seed dispersal, for pollination, for everything.
Our role as conservationists is more of as communicators rather than as scientists. I mean, obviously we have to do some science to have the knowledge to recommend the right things to do. But the toughest thing is to get people to understand these issues and to do something about it. So unless you're a leader, unless you spend time talking to people and getting people to do things, it's just no good. I mean, as a scientist, I sat on the beach for 20 years watching seals. And by the end of those 20 years, when I saw them all die in 3 months, I felt I've wasted 20 years of my life. If I want to conserve these animals, I have to deal with, more pressing, more urgent issues. So there is a need for us as conservationists to stop just playing around and really deal with these big issues.
The winners form a network around the world, and they reinforce each other, they help each other, they often act as referees for new applications. They're a fantastic network of conservation ambassadors.
One of the things as a filmmaker, being out at the sort of cutting edge of conservation, working on series like Planet Earth, time and time again, you meet and work with Whitley Fund for Nature Award winners, and increasingly and very encouragingly, these people are local people. And I know from personal experience that relatively small amounts of money can make a massive, massive difference.
The charity is very elastic because some donors can give a large amount, which is fantastic, and we use that, and we have awards which are nominated by specific donors. Others pool together to give a Friends Award, and so a donation of any size is important to us.
Our donors are the bedrock of the charity, and without them, the Whitley Awards would not be possible.
When the Whitley Award started in 1994, it was only one award of £15,000, and today we fund up to 9 Whitley Award winners a year, each of them winning £30,000. We have a continuation funding scheme which enables us to repeat fund our strongest winners. The number of people we funded before continues to expand, and accumulatively those people are definitely having a long-term impact on the conservation field.
And the continuation funding is very special to the Whitley Awards because that understands the pressure on people, not just to make do with the money from the awards, but how they're going to build on that.
And now the project has a very big component in education and has expanded to about 70 schools, and it's doing a whole bunch of things that having those 2 years to reorganize and think really were very useful for the next stage.
Conservation is at heart a moral science. It's not a biological science, it's not a social science, it's a moral imperative. You have to work with people if you're going to achieve your dream.
If you have a wall and you take a brick on the wall won't collapse immediately. If you start to take many bricks, you don't know when we will take one brick and the whole wall is going to collapse. And this is what is happening in our environment. We have taken so many bricks, so many populations, and we don't know when. We will take one more, and the whole thing will collapse.
If you have a situation where things are happening too fast, you just take the best information, you take action now, and then you see what happens. I mean, you can't just sit and wait. If we do, we're just going to lose our planet.
It may be that all the work done by all of us will be swept away by the tide of human progress. But even if all is hopeless, every single Whitley Award winner would still continue with her or his work. We challenge the writing on the wall, even when we are told our efforts are futile, that with all the pollution, the wars, the greed of our species, I think I speak for the whole Whitley community. I speak, in fact, for anyone who has ever loved the natural world deeply.
So far, the Whitley Fund for Nature has supported over 100 different projects in 50 countries. With your help, we can extend that work to assist people to save their habitats and the creatures that live in them. But we have to act now. The world won't wait. Blue whales are the largest animals ever to have existed on Earth, the giants of marine conservation. But only 40 years ago, they were still being killed in their thousands for baleen, oil and meat. Recovery has been very slow, and there are thought to be only 10,000 blue whales remaining. In 2003, a research team from Chile made an exciting discovery, the most outstanding blue whale feeding and nursery grounds known to exist in the southern hemisphere. Led by Dr. Rodrigo Hucagueta, founder of the Blue Whale Center, the team is now establishing Chile's first marine protected area. This special coastline is unprotected, and industrial activities, from fish farming to shipping, threaten both whales and fishermen's livelihoods. Gaining an understanding of whale ecology through tagging, survey and photo identification, the team is involving local stakeholders directly in conservation. Lively work in schools is changing attitudes towards the ocean. Rodrigo believes all development must be sustainable and integrate the needs of local fishermen, the main guardians of the coast. Long term, he hopes to unify global efforts to conserve oceans with initiatives across South America and Antarctica, where blue whales once thrived.